Hi there, I play Pokemon. As you can see by the title of this video, I play Pokemon a lot actually. We have 1,000 hours on Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I thought, since my situation is probably quite unique, I'm going to share with you guys what I have achieved on Pokemon Sword and Shield with the 1,000 hours that I have played it. And I'm going to try and give like a sort of breakdown as to how those hours were spent. So just so you know that I'm not BSing you, here it is. 1,015 hours actually now. And we also have 120 hours on Pokemon Sword. So a lot of times went into this game. And I also just want to say, this is my first ever Pokemon game where I have 1,000 hours. I've never had 1,000 hours on a Pokemon game before this. I mean, collectively, the amount of times I've played Fire Red and Leaf Green, maybe I have 1,000 hours total, but there's no way of tracking that. So on one singular save file, this is my first time ever hitting 1,000 hours. I know. What type of Pokemon fan am I? This is my job, and this is the first game I've got 1,000 hours on. Well, what a scrub. And hey, the DLC hasn't even came out yet, so this is actually kind of crazy. I can only imagine how much more hours I'm going to put into the game. As we approached 1,000 hours, I did slow down quite a lot as to how much I played, because like I basically, I think a lot of the time getting to 1,000 hours was shiny hunting and breeding for good Pokemon. I also want to really quickly preface, we don't actually have 1,000 hours on the save button here, and that is because when you when I'm hunting the fossils, Dracovish, and which one did I do here? I did Dracovish on this one and Dracozolt. Yeah, I shiny hunted 2 fossils on this version of the game. The other version, Sword, I hunted the other fossils. That's why there's like 120 hours on that one. Anyways, with this save file, because I think about 50 of those hours was well, I can confirm about 50 of those hours was for the fossils, because whenever I didn't get the shiny, I would just turn off my game and then turn it back on. Does that make sense? So, you know, I guess for like an hour, I would be, you know, soft resetting, or well, not soft resetting, I would be accepting these Dracovishes and Dracozolts, and after the hour is up, if it wasn't shiny, turn off the game, turn back on. Playtime on here wasn't updated, but the playtime on the actual Switch was. That's why that is out of sync. But I still have 1,000 hours on this game total. This is my first and only save file of Pokemon Shield. I've not reset this game at all, so 1,000 hours. Anyways, like I said, I'm gonna try and break down how many hours went into what. It's going to be very rough estimates because I wasn't keeping track, because I wasn't expecting to make this video. So I just did a quick count. This could be off, but I have, since Sword and Shield's release, uploaded roughly 110 to 115 free-for-alls, sort of that area. And it's hard, you know, I mean, if we wanted to get the exact number, we could go through every single free-for-all and count how long each of those battles were, but I'm just going to do a guesstimate here. I'm going to say, so because free-for-alls, or well, battles in general in Sword and Shield are limited to 20 minutes, I'm going to just say they average out to about 15 minutes per battle. So if we do 110 times by 15, that is 1650 minutes in hours. That is 27 hours of free-for-alling. I mean, with the setup and all that other, you know, the shenanigans beforehand, honestly, like, you know, choosing Pokemon and yada yada yada, I would probably like, I would say like free-for-alls in general probably took up like 40 to 50 of my hours, maybe even more, maybe even more, because of connection issues and stuff like that. But that's actually crazy, because most of my content was free-for-alls, and let's say like 50 of the hours, let's just be generous, 50 hours was spent on free-for-alls. Where did the other 950 come from? Because we're just going to set this at 1,000 hours. Where did the other 950 of these hours come from? I can also confirm that I have been breeding and playing this game legitimately. I wanted to actually have Pokemon I was proud of and used in my videos. I mean, more recently, I have been genning some Pokemon for free-for-alls. I know I'm evil, but once I'm done with them, I've released them. So that's just to make free-for-alls a little bit more interesting, because I can't really be bothered to breed Pokemon sort of anymore. But as soon as I'm done, I release them. So shoot me if I'm bad, whatever. Basically, all the Pokemon I have collected playing legit are in these boxes. These boxes right here, these are all from playing legit. Sort of. Like this one here, my friend Ray traded me this. It's even got one of his OTs. I'm telling you the truth. Ray traded me this, and this is a legitimate Necrozma that he caught himself. But I would be lying if I said he didn't duplicate it and then give it to me. So yeah, count this one as not legit if you want, whatever. But it's legal. It's a legendary Pokemon is a different story. When it comes to like obtaining legitimate like non-legendaries, I say just don't bother hacking. There's no need to really. Like look at all these mons that I've got. The amount of shinies I have as well, it's ridiculous. So let's just say 50 hours was spent free-for-alling, 30 to 40 hours maybe, like 30 hours was spent on the game itself, like just playing through the story. So that's like, let's just say that's 80 hours knocked off. We've got 920 more hours to account for. And I don't want to just account them all to shiny hunting. Well, we can at least confirm that like 50 hours was roughly put in for the fossils. So that brings us down again to like 870 hours remaining. 870 hours. Where did those 870 hours come from? Probably all these Pokemon. A lot of time and effort goes into breeding all of these mons, and I was having such a good time with it when the game first came out. And I did stream a lot of shiny hunting as well, like 2 hours every day for a couple months. So got a lot of shiny hunting streams to account for also. I just did a real quick search on my channel, and I think we did about 66 Sword and Shield shiny hunting streams. And on average, like I say, actually when I first started streaming, I was streaming for 3 to 4 hours. Dude, I don't know how I did that. That is crazy. I was doing like 4-hour streams. I was nuts. So for like the first 30 streams, I was streaming for 4 hours. And then the next 30, I was streaming for about 2. So I've just done the maths. From my live streams, I would say roughly, on average, about 180 hours of Sword and Shield game time was me streaming. So then that knocks us down to like 600 hours remaining, roughly. We're just being rough here, rough estimates. I also want to say, I think I did actually do quite a lot of raiding with friends. That was good fun. I would always, that could actually probably, the 50 hours I counted for the shiny fossil hunting, that could probably be accounted to soft resetting for raids also. That you could probably bang those together. Actually just raiding in general though, I can't really give an actual number. I did spend quite a lot of time raiding with friends up all night, you know what I mean though, like just grinding candies. So you could probably say 50 to 100 hours. It's just guessing at this point. That just means like the remaining 500 hours must have just been me going through the battle tower and then breeding Pokemon. So I'm gonna show you guys the Pokemon I have, I suppose. Like I think that's like the main reason I wanted to do this. Obviously I completed my Pokedex as well. I think it took me like, I completely forgot about completing your Pokedex. I think it took me like 70 hours. I think I completed my Pokedex when I had like 70 hours of in-game time. So that means like 40 hours on top of my, so yeah, like 40 hours to finish my Pokedex maybe. Obviously it wasn't just all finishing my Pokedex, because I finished the game with about 30 hours time, and then completing the Pokedex I was done by 70. But then obviously in between that I was raiding and all this other stuff. I wish I had a better way to count this, but let's just say 20 to 30 hours of completing the Pokedex. Like, oh yeah, obviously I would spend a lot of time grinding money so I could like EV train and stuff like that too. So obviously I would actually leave my Switch on and have like the turbo controller grinding. I cannot count how many hours. Easily 100 or 200 hours, maybe 300 hours probably went into the digging duo. Like I do not have to worry about money ever again. A good couple hundred hours went into the digging duo. You can safely say, just by looking at this right here. So I would guess like 250, 300 hours maybe went into the digging duo, because like whenever I'd just be working, I would just have the digging duo on. It's just easy. And yeah, I've just got all these Pokemon. Obviously EV training them takes quite a bit of time. Well, not actually, because I use the digging duo, I would just buy vitamins and feed my Pokemon. So like EV training doesn't really take any time at all. I mean, it adds a little, maybe like an extra 5-10 minutes after I've bred it, but I mean obviously that all adds up because of how many Pokemon I have. How many boxes do I have here of Pokemon? Like, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 boxes times 30. That is 240 Pokemon I have bred, EV trained, and all that. That's a lot of mons. That's a lot of Pokemon. Some of my favorites, my shiny my shiny fossils. Like I said, Wagon and Vladimir I got from this copy, and these guys I got from my sword copy, Sushi and Achu. Dahlia, fan favorite right here. This thing took me so long. I think this is my longest shiny hunt, this Corsola. Never want to see a Corsola again after that. Got these regular colored fossils too. I love the fossil Pokemon this generation. They're really, really cool. God, I love that shiny. I got it like, I remember hunting for this thing in the wild. That's another thing. I think I spent like 2-3 hours running around looking for it in the wild. Never found it, so I went to egg hatch it and I got it within like 18 eggs. Like, man, I love that mon. Got all these guys. Of course, I've got my collection of Toxtricities. A few of them are G-Max Toxtricities though, so like, you know, some of them are, you know, I've only got the only legitimate shiny one is, well, not legitimate. The only shiny one that I bred for, I think, is this one. Maybe? No, that's a G-Max one. It's Dandy. This is the shiny I bred. I didn't breed for it. No, I found it in the wild. I've actually not bred for a shiny Toxel at all. Shiny Toxel's a pain to breed for. I found this one in the wild in like 50 encounters, which was, turns out it was very lucky because because wild encounters didn't really work how we thought they did. I've got so many Toxtricities. Love these guys. Of course, got all the legendaries up here too. What other mons? Cramorant. Oh, Cheeto. Everybody loves Cheeto. Got Cheeto in like 11 eggs. Just got so I've just all this in-game time from just getting legitimate Pokemon. It feels good because like all these Pokemon that I have, if you count Raid Den shinies as legit or not, I mean, I've legitimately went and caught them. You know, the method of getting the shiny Raid Den may not be exactly legit, but you still caught it in game, you know what I mean? It isn't injected. That's like the main, and I'm just really proud of how much time and effort I've put into this game, because now I can like move all these Pokemon forward and I have no like shame or I have no like mix-ups of like, oh, is this legit, is this not? I know I spent a lot of time breeding, EV training, getting movesets ready, like hours. I would say 300-ish hours is probably, I think that's a realistic number, right? 300 hours on breeding and EV training and getting movesets ready and battle towering and all that other stuff. Like that's realistic, right? Obviously raiding to get EXP candy and stuff like that. It's just beautiful to go back and like look at all these guys that you've raised. This was just a raid shiny, you know, nothing crazy, but I don't know, feels good to have a lot of like legitimate mons just that you made yourself. I mean, I'm not saying this is the only way to play. If you inject Pokemon, more power to you, bro. But they made it so easy. That was like one of my biggest wishes for Sword and Shield. I was wishing so hard that they made it easy to make Pokemon competitively viable. The only thing I think that they could do is make it so you don't have to be level 100 to bottle cap. That would be pretty good. And then also have a bottle cap that makes your IV 0 for people that want to run 0 attack Pokemon or people that want to run 0 speed. Like that's like the only step forward that they could really do to make it even easier, I suppose. Because breeding for like a Reuniclus with negative speed and negative attack, pain in the butt. Lots and lots of hours have been put into this, and I'm very, very excited to see how many more hours I get in the next, when the DLC comes out, and then, you know, maybe the next Pokemon games. But then because I've put all these hours in all, you know, in all these Pokemon, like the reason why I kind of, I guess, got burnt out or like stopped playing so much was because I've already bred most of the Pokemon I want to play with. Like I've bred like all these different sets for all these different mons that I want to play with, and unfortunately because of the dex cut, I only have so many to breed for. Like I've only got like 400 total Pokemon I can like breed for, 435 now, and obviously some of those are legendary, so it's not even a total of 435. So like that's why leading up to 1,000 hours I slowed down immensely. I think it's roughly been like 3,000, 4,000 hours since Sword and Shield came out. So like to spend a good fourth of my time playing this game since it came out, quite a lot of dedication. Anyways, let me know in the comments how many hours you've got on Sword and Shield. How did I do? You probably expected more, I guess, than 200 Pokemon fully EV trained. But I mean, a lot goes into doing this though. Like a lot goes into getting all these Pokemon legit. If I just injected my save file, I would have nowhere near 1,000 hours. I would have 200 maximum. I can't wait for the Sword and Shield DLC. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the next Pokemon games, I don't get 1,000 hours onto it though, because I've already bred and got all these legitimate Pokemon already ready to go to transfer to the next games. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, time gets cut on that, but hey, it's fine. I spend a lot of time playing Pokemon, and it's really cool to finally have a save file with 1,000 hours on it, I guess. I don't know. I just thought I would share my experience with Sword and Shield so far, since I don't think there's many other people out there with 1,000 hours. There will be more people out there with 1,000 hours. You're all going to come out in the woodworks and let me know in the comments that you have 1,000 hours. But most casual players probably start playing around 100. So I'm a gamer. Thanks for watching. Drop a like if you liked this video, I suppose. And I'll see you guys next time. Subscribe if you're new. See you guys later.